Did you want to do it?
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a quick second out then.
No
Same
problem.
reason you left.
Yeah. How much time do I have?
As long as you want.
Okay.
It's 2-hour class, but
Okay. We won't go.
nobody ever goes. Actually, I think that
That's not a timer.
Alex went 2 hours one time when he had like
Your shop.
80 slides.
Okay. I have a ton of slides, but they're very like.
Oh, you've got 89 slides, but yours are quick.
Yeah. It won't be like 40 minutes per slide.
All right, let's get started. Today, the topic, at least the initial topic, is video. We've got Jonathan here from Thomson Reuters, and I'll let him do his own introduction because he probably has it in as part of his deck anyway.
Great. And I'm just setting a timer right now, so I'm going to try to keep this entire thing under an hour. So I'll just be checking back there and speeding up as appropriate to make sure that you guys can get on with your day. Let me make sure this clicky works. I think you have to click on the presentation. Nice. Okay, thanks. So for the agenda today, there's two big parts that we focus on. The first one's history, so just kind of contextualizing some important things about video. And then the second part is going to go more into strategy, so things that are going to be a little bit more applicable to your partner organization.
Oops,
Oh, no, you're good. So I wanted to do a quick bio because I felt that these were pretty useful when I was an undergraduate. So I graduated in 2004. I went into finance. I got my stockbroker's license. Did that for a few years. I found that it was not very fulfilling work, and so basically just partied a lot for 4 years. Then I quit my job, moved to Vermont from California. That's when my car exploded, and I rode a bicycle to and from work at American Apparel. So I was about 26 then. I was making like $11 an hour. Had the same job as a bunch of 16-year-old girls in high school, and I was selling clothes. So I put that as kind of like a lower point. But at that same part, when I was like pretty underemployed, for a college graduate, I just bought a lot of books. You guys are really lucky now because you can actually take classes in this subject matter. Whereas 10 years ago, you just had to buy a stack of books and just start reading about graphic design and how that integrates with video and SEO and PPC and all those other marketing channels. From there, got an internship, which turned into a full-time employment with a small agency called Branthropology, which was still located in Vermont. After that, I started managing a team at Dealer.com. Dealer.com is kind of a traditional internet success story. So like 1998-ish, it was just 4 founders started the company, and then a little bit before I left, they sold the company for $997 million in about 14 years, which was really cool to kind of be a part of that rocket ship and just watch something scale and grow really dramatically. After that, I got recruited to come out here to Minnesota, or I guess next to here in Minnesota. So now I manage the digital marketing team. So it's a team of 90 people that do SEO, PPC, local, and they have some account management functions as well. And then obviously teaching here at UW-Stout. So I guess before we go into this, I just want to see, what are your guys' majors? Do you want to start?
I'm information communication technology.
Okay.
I am a double major in professional communication and emerging media and digital marketing technology.
I'm in cross-media graphics and I entertainment video, so this class.
Information and communication technologies as well.
I'm information communication technologies.
And that's the ICTC programs? Okay. Cool. Okay, great. So that's actually really relevant. So probably one of the questions then is, why are we learning about video if maybe our focus area isn't, exclusively on video stuff? And so a follow-up question, who do you guys think makes more money? So there's generalists and specialists. Who thinks that specialists make more money than generalists? Got 2 votes, 3 votes, and then who thinks generalists makes more than specialists? Okay, we got 1 abstain, and then, okay, and Kevin. So that's actually the case. Generalists. So Harvard Business Review last year put out a pretty big study that shows that generalists make about 42% more money than specialists do. And And we see that same trend in the digital marketing field as well. So this is just some not necessarily starting salary data, but salary data for people who are placed with the TCG. It's called a creative group. They're just like a placement for like ad agencies. But you can see these specialist roles are kind of maxing out around 90K, whereas kind of more integrated roles like digital strategist, interactive marketing manager, e-commerce marketing manager, where you're going to have to know, video, understand graphic design, user experience, SEO, PPC, kind of understanding that whole digital marketing ecosystem. You can see that those guys make about almost double what the SEO and SEM specialists do. So it's good to know about video, even for my own role. Like I don't use it every day. It's not a specialty, but it is something that's integrated into what I do, most days. And so just from like a career and kind of personal development standpoint, it's good just to know about video, just to kind of learn more and find more ways to apply knowledge that you're getting in other areas that you're studying right now. So how impactful is video? So right now, about 70% of consumer traffic, or that was for 2016, is related to video, and that's only scheduled to increase over time to 82% in 2020. One big, which I think might be a related factor, is also that reading's in decline. So this is the percent of Americans that have read 0 books in the year. And so you can see 2010 is about 9%, jumping up in 2014 to 16%. We're seeing that trend continue as well, right? That's why I read a book, you just watch a video, summary of it, read Spark Notes or whatever, is more efficient. So people are looking more and more to video, reading less things. And then we see as people are purchasing things, if you're looking for what college program to sign up for, where to take a vacation, what type of car to buy, video is going to be really integrated into that conversion cycle. And it's not just kids. So kind of your age cohort is more of like the early adopters. So you guys were probably watching YouTube videos, before maybe your parents were. But we're seeing really enormous growth, tripling year over year for people 55 plus. So you even see that now with like Snapchat, right? It's a video-based social media service, and I have more and more parents that are getting on it, every day. Whereas if you said that a year and a half ago, it would really be in the domain of people probably under about 30 years old. There's also a lot of money there. So about 18 billion was spent last year in video ad spend. So that's just people putting those ads over YouTube. And that's up from 13 billion in 2015. So 5 billion jump in a year. And again, as that becomes a larger and larger portion of overall internet traffic, you're going to see those numbers get higher and higher and higher. So as a result, we see a lot of social media networks and even news outlets moving more and more towards video. So this just came out last month. Zuckerberg, so 2 years ago, his big thing was like having a mobile-first strategy, knowing that mobile phones are predominantly what we use instead of a computer. So that was like the big thing. Now he's moving towards a video-first strategy. You might see that as you go through your Facebook feed now. It's like those text posts. You don't even really see those anymore. It's more and more autoplay videos of dubious quality sometimes. Some other things that are going to be coming this year on Facebook, they're building out a video app for TVs, so like that like Apple desktop box, Roku, I think Sling is going to get it. So they're going in and kind of positioning themselves as a video network, more so than even just a social network. The ability for sound to autoplay, so that's just kind of stealing that function from Snapchat. If your like sound is on as you go through the videos, autoplays with sound. Facebook's going to be doing that as well. They're also going to be reformatting for vertical video. So right now when you're watching videos, you have to like watch it landscape. So they're going to kind of reorient that again to be more consistent with that Snapchat user experience, which is showing that they're taking a very video first approach. So some takeaways, people don't read books, people watch more videos, and it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So how did we get here? So this is going to go blast from the past. How many people were alive in 1995? Got a couple. Okay, So you might remember this. These are called magazines. No one reads these really anymore, right? You just get all your content online. But magazines kind of ruled the age. People were still reading, newspapers that you'd like kind of throw Dennis the Menace style and on your porch, right, and read it. It doesn't really happen anymore, obviously. So 1995, we got 56K modem. So that was just through like a telephone and make that weird noise. And it took forever to download stuff. So to download a CD, 1,000 minutes, a movie, somewhere between that and 10,000 minutes, an HD movie would take you basically a month to download. So things that we're able to like stream now, instantaneously, it would take you a month to download this. 1995. Fast forward, modems got about 10 times faster. You see those times decreasing, but still, to watch a movie, it still takes 3 days to download this thing. You could get a song, reasonably in a whole album in a couple hours, but it's still taking forever. So that time we saw things like Napster, BitTorrent, peer-to-peer file sharing systems, but really early stages, right? Is like you would just share one file, like one MP3 with someone else, and it would take you like 10 minutes to download it, and then you'd realize it was the wrong song. 2007, we're getting faster and faster and faster with our cable modems. So now we're seeing that HD movies are taking about 15 hours to download, so still not really popular for the mainstream yet, but a normal movie only taking about an hour and a half, that's pretty quick. And so coincidentally, right, that same year, you see YouTube getting released, Netflix getting released, Apple Video getting released, right? Because there's more ways to watch this video to get this content. It's all tied together with the technology. So it gets even faster, 2015. And so we're seeing, PlayStation, HBO Now, Sling, Apple TV growing, as it gets faster and faster. So fast forward to now, right, we have fiber, optical. I don't know. Do you guys have that here? What speed? Do you know?
I don't know. I live out in the woods.
Okay.
We've got cable.
Nice. Still better than dial-up.
Yep.
All the way. And so now, as you guys all know, right, you can download an entire movie in like 5 minutes. So as a result, we're seeing video now get built into a lot of different channels, a lot of different platforms. So YouTube getting bigger, now you can watch on demand, like full videos on YouTube. Instagram has videos, Facebook video we talked through, Twitch TV, so you can just stream to watch other people play video games. Lots of live capabilities, Snapchat we talked through, Facebook, Twitter, a lot of different ways that you can interact with people in real time. And again, without the ability of the bandwidth to be so quick, like where it was 15 years ago, it would all be impossible. So you guys can extrapolate out in the future as we get quicker and quicker and quicker, right? Video is going to be more and more relevant, more and more integrated into our day-to-day. So the fact that it's getting more and more integrated, it's becoming a larger portion of people's just online experience, leads us to a dilemma, because the new paradigm for marketing is to be like an omni-channel marketer. So omni is just it's Latin prefix that just means all. So like omnipotent, omniscient, all-knowing. Same thing, omni-channel, right? All channels. So channels are just different ways that people interact with a brand or a customer. So the issue with being omni-channel is you want to optimize for all these channels and across all type of different devices, right? Whether it's tablets, desktop, it's a mobile phone, you got to do it with text, graphics, and video. So it's just a ton of work. As you guys are probably seeing with your partner organizations, like the scope of things that you could potentially touch and change is huge. And so given a limited amount of time, right, like what are you supposed to do? Right, you got finite time, you got finite money, finite resources, but there's almost an infinite amount of opportunities of things that you can market on, which makes it really hard. Being an omnichannel marketer is pretty much impossible, right? We don't have infinite resources. So I wanted to talk some ways that we could pick videos. How do we pick which channels we should prioritize, make videos for? So one clear way to distinguish yourself from others is just through using data. From here, right, it's about a third of marketers use any sort of data at all to inform the type of decisions that they're making. And that's pretty flat over the last 4 years, even slightly downward. You'd expect that trend to be high because there's so much data at our fingertips. Most people just aren't taking advantage of it. And again, you want to focus on things that are important, things that you can control, as well. So one good way to prioritize that list is, just list out all the different potential channels, that you could potentially have. and then start collecting data. There's a lot of different ways to get this data. Probably the easiest is with your partner organization. Just talk to the owners. Just observe people that are going into the store. Talk to people that are going into the business as well. Just get a better understanding. What's their demographic? What are their pain points? What type of things are these people looking for? What social media channels do they use? What video channels do they use? What websites do they go to? Right? Just kind of basic market research that you do, whether it was digital or whether you're doing traditional television market research. Right? Strategy is all going to be the same. But then we can start layering data so that we're even better. So this is one report from Google AdWords. And you can see here that it helps give some good data on different things people are searching for. So up here we have divorce lawyer as the keyword. And so this tool is called the Display Planner, Google AdWords Display Planner. So if you just put in this word, divorce lawyer, it'll start pushing out a lot of information. It'll give you some insights into the gender of people that are searching for that, which you can use to kind of inform decisions later on. How they're looking at it, so 61% on mobile, so that's a good indicator that whatever video you have, you probably want to optimize that for mobile. And then you can also see what other websites that they're coming for, both on mobile, traditional websites, and also what video websites they're looking at as well. So this is all free data anyone can get from Google AdWords Display Planner, which will help you a lot in getting a better, more quantitative understanding of who your customer really is. Another really good tool here is called Think with Google. Again, this is free. I have the URL at the bottom, /tools/customer journey. So with Think with Google, what you can do is all of these are drop downs right here. And so you can pick different business areas where it's like retail, restaurants, whatever, the size of it, where they are, and all of this data here will shift around. And it'll show you the conversion path, like how people start from like learning about your brand to actually making that, final interaction before they make a purchase. And so you can see all the steps. So for this one, I'm in legal at FindLaw, so medium law. They start with organic search, right? So they're just typing something. Might go to a couple of different websites, which refers them to different places. They start doing paid search for things like divorce law. Move on to email. They might click a retargeting ad. From that retargeting ad, there's cookies on them, and so they're going to start seeing ad and optimized content on social. And then finally, they'll do an actual brand search like Davis and Davis Law, and then that's when they convert. And so by kind of knowing all these major steps that an audience walks through before they take whatever action you want, you can understand, okay, these are the different touch points where we want to make sure that we're integrating video in some capacity so that we can increase conversion and kind of push them through that conversion cycle. And so one caveat is with this, it's kind of broad, so it just says social, it doesn't say like what social media sites. So you got to drill down a little bit further to kind of understand specifically what sites do we want to be looking at. So in determining site appropriateness, generally, like if you're doing social, Facebook is probably a good place. About 8 in 10 of Americans are on Facebook. So you're going to have a large percent of the population. And then Instagram, Pinterest, LinkedIn, Twitter are all there. Pretty much a third of the US population is on those, which is good. We tend to get a lot of like news and media around Instagram, but you got to recognize that Facebook is still a big player in the game. But you can drill down even further, get more demographic info. So if you have demographic info like of the actual people who are coming into your store, see which one matches up with which social media website or video website or whatever. So I just got this data from Sprouts Social, but you can get urban, suburban, rural breakdowns, gender breakdowns, age breakdowns, education, income. You can get all this for like a typical user on any of these platforms, which I'm sure Casey talked about at length yesterday, but that helps you understand, where you should be focusing your time. And so back to, those channels that we had, right? So we've collected data, we understand who our customers are, we understand what channels they're using, what platforms they're using to understand those channels, and then we can start targeting those. And so you want to go into that original channel list, then you start killing stuff that's just not relevant, right? Just do the editing. Don't do something just because your partner business says, I want to dominate Twitter, right? If their users aren't on Twitter, there's no point in putting a lot of effort there. Conversely, You know, if Facebook is the easiest way for them to get customers, you know, build videos for Facebook, build your content for Facebook, optimize it all for that channel. One caveat too is that these channel ratios should evolve over time. So, you know, right now you can come up with a list of channels that make sense for your potential clients. Just know that that's going to change over time. So Snapchat is a pretty good example of that, right? It's like not really good market. Well, I guess it was always good market penetration, but nowhere near, you know, where it is now, right? They were at about 46 million a couple of years ago. Now they're at 158 million and growing. So they're doing really good numbers. So marketing mix that might have made sense in 2014 that excludes Snapchat wouldn't make sense now, right? As that grows. And in the same way, you might see other channels get smaller, like MySpace, right? It might have made sense to optimize videos for MySpace in 2006. I don't even know how long ago MySpace was. It was a while. That was a while. Yeah, it was a while ago. But you know, the point still stands, right? Is as MySpace comes out of vogue and Facebook kind of replaces it, you want to make sure that that marketing adjusts as well. So I want to talk through some more. So now that we've talked through like the more strategic approach to understanding what channels we should be on and kind of thinking through what websites make the most sense, now to move like more tactically and like what specific things might resonate well on whatever channels that you pick. So we're all familiar with the unicorns. So we call them unicorns because they don't exist really. And so Ryan Toy Review is one of those organizations. So this guy's got, this is an old screenshot, 7 million subscribers there. I think it's even higher now. It's just a kid reviewing toys, basically, playing with his dad. And like if you look at the view numbers, they're insane, right? This is 500 million views on like a kid opening an egg, 96 million on Giant Egg Surprise, another Giant Egg Surprise with 48 million. So again, they know who their audience is. It's going to be parents who are at home. What we see is that millennial parents are searching for more and more things online, like what toy to get the kid or what school program to sign them up for. And so they've done, or maybe looked into, you know, a really lucrative market that buys a lot of things. So advertisers wants to throw ads, you know, onto this content, and so they can make a ton of money, you know, in the process. So yeah, I updated it. 7 million subscribers for 331, 8 episodes a week. They get about 500 million views per month. So you know, assuming that they just make $1 per 1,000 views, which is pretty conservative. Some companies can make like 8 to 10 per 1,000 views. That means he's making about $500,000 a month, making like toy review videos, which is crazy, right? Because that's a lot of money for something that's pretty basic. But again, you know, these are the unicorns. Not everyone can be a unicorn. I would definitely say it's worth trying. Why not? If you have something that you're really into, you know, even just, you go into a lot of his old videos, it's just done, you know, basic kind of like cell phone cam. And then obviously, once you start making $500,000 a month, you can get cooler cameras and better lighting and things. But, you know, a lot of those, you know, kind of YouTube superstars all have really humble beginnings. And so even just something to do on the side, I would like, definitely encourage you to go through. Even if you don't end up making $500,000 a month, it'll get you used to the process of creating a video, editing the video, uploading it, optimizing it for different channels, cross-promoting it, you know, on different ways. So you actually end up learning a ton of skills that even if you're in the short term not making money, in the longer term, right, it's going to make you that generalist that knows how to do more things. It's going to make you more valuable in the market later on. So let's talk about some not unicorn stuff that you guys can do with your partner business. So kind of having more restrained expectations that maybe, you know, 500,000 people might not watch your local business video. That's okay. So one thing that works really well is AMAs. Do you guys know what AMAs are? Anyone spend too much time on Reddit? No? Okay, AMA just means ask me anything. So essentially what you do is you just take someone who would probably have some interests from the larger community, and then just open up like a live video, and then just have people do user submitted questions and go through. that tends to engage users a little bit better if it's just like someone speaking into a camera because it's making it a little bit more interactive. We found those work pretty well. Behind the scenes, so I guess what's your partner organization?
Photography studio.
Okay, so that would be great, right? Because you could see, okay, what goes into, one of my friends is a photographer, and she takes a lot of behind the scenes content. But like what goes into a shot, right? Something that seems super straightforward. Like she just took a photo of a ice pick with ice on top, right? But she chronicled the entire thing to show, right, it's fake ice. It's ice pick. They're like hitting it from lights down here and from up here, to illuminate it. There's a lot that goes into that. So you can make that into a tutorial video, which other photographers, would watch, would want to engage with that. Or just, that whole process from setup to teardown, like what goes into, making like a photograph or any other, type of production. So, this is another example with donuts by Dunkin' Donuts. Like people like to see, people make donuts and just create things. And so, to think about with your partner organization, like what are they doing that someone might be interested in? And you'd be surprised at the response for really banal, kind of boring things. People really like to watch, like making baseball, right? It's like those videos get millions of views. It's just watching a baseball get built, but no one knows the behind the scenes, until you watch that thing. Timely news. So this one's a little bit tougher, but if possible, to make like a calendar even in advance, like that there's certain days, like International Cupcake Day, or this one's International Women's Day, and then building content that kind of syncs up with that day. If you have like a restaurant, knowing that St. Patty's Day is coming up, so can you source old St. Patrick's Day footage, make a 30-second promo video, and throw it on Facebook to get people excited to like come out to that restaurant for St. Patrick's Day or whatever it is. But the idea of kind of pre-planning your content so that it syncs up with something in real life is also another effective way to have some content that really resonates with your users. Challenges, so we're all familiar with this, whether it's like the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. This is challenges to see how long it takes different lollipops to melt, which got like 6.5 million views, which again, pretty easy, straightforward stuff. And garnering interest. Talk through demos, events kind of in the same way of pre-planning things. Like, are there special like awards nights or events that are going on within that industry that might be relevant for people outside of it to follow along with? Interviews, kind of the same idea as AMA, except for instead of having users submit the questions, it would just be an actual interviewer go through. And this is pretty traditional. We see this obviously on the news as well. Addition to that, there's also a lot of non-marketing applications for videos. And so a lot of things I was talking through so far is how you can help your partner organization. Another reason to get involved with doing more video stuff now is that it's becoming more and more integrated into how business is just done in contemporary organizations. So I'm sure that you guys already use like video chat, probably a good amount with your friends. That's becoming, like I video chat probably 3 days of the week, I would say, with people. I've taken a video interview before where you just get questions and you have to talk into a camera. So again, for you guys, like having more opportunities to kind of be comfortable with that video technology, you're going to do significantly better than someone who's maybe in their 40s or 50s who isn't used to talking to a camera, feels really weird and self-conscious and might fall down. So it also represents a really good opportunity as you guys are hitting the workforce to kind of distinguish yourself and show that you're comfortable with a lot of new technologies and ways of interacting with other people within your organization. So let me time check real quick. I think we're doing good. Oh yeah, we're gonna get out of here in time. So I want to conclude with some key video formatting considerations. So whatever you decide to do for video, remember, understand your audience, understand what channels, and then what type of content is going to be relevant on those channels. And this is like really tactical, just formatting stuff to think about. One thing is to think about the context So if you have, like, we're lawyers, for instance, or excuse me, we represent lawyers. And so we know that people searching for car accident lawyer are generally on the road. It's not someone, at home in the comfort on their couch taking time. Someone just got into a car accident, right? Wants to know like what they have to do. Or if you just got pulled over and you think you might get a DWI, you might have 30 seconds to understand what you should and should not say, before you can actually go to jail, right? And so that context becomes really important. If you have this long form content of like, telling the history of DWIs and stuff, it's like, dude, I don't want that, right? It's like, I got 8 seconds, he's walking here, give me the content. And so think in that same way with videos as well. Is it going to be someone walking to or from class and they have, 30 seconds to a minute to burn to watch your video? Is it going to be someone who's going to be like sitting down, maybe on Vimeo and is going to watch like 45-minute video? But to really be conscious of like, where is that user going to be interacting with your video? And making sure that all the subsequent things we talk about kind of conform to that context to make it as easy as possible for them. So frame size is really important. So that's what I was talking about. Facebook is getting more into moving towards like vertical. Right now it's horizontal. And so just being aware about how it fills up your entire screen when a user looks at it. Adding comments and descriptions generally is helpful because it pushes other content down on the mobile, so that way you kind of take up that entire screen area, and it's not your post plus like another post, which might be a little bit more attractive, right? Peeking in below. So that can help. Audio on or off. So like I was talking about before, certain videos are going to autoplay with sound. Certain videos are not, and so. Like with Facebook, there's no sound. It would make sense to have subtitles, right? Because the person watching the video instantly isn't going to watch it with the sound. So even having like, even a teaser, right, that just says like, best story ever, something that's like getting them really excited about it, like make sure that's in text, because they're not necessarily going to hear it. And then, the opposite, right, for Snapchat. Same idea with the length of the video. So again, I don't know if the DWI was the best example. But that same idea, right? Is quickly, people need that bite-sized piece of information. But you can go long form if people are looking for something a little bit more deep. Like behind-the-scenes video can be a lot longer versus like a tutorial video might be a little bit quicker to the point. Story arc as well, just to make sure it's not boring. So as you watch a lot of videos, you can kind of see when you stop watching videos, like what's that dead space, right? Where you're like, okay, I gave it 30 seconds, over it. As you're creating videos, have that same kind of detached critical lens. Like, would you really sit through this scene? If no, then it makes sense to adjust that story arc or how long it takes you to get to the point. You can also use video analytics to understand when people like stop viewing your video. Like that's just in YouTube, that functionality. So that's also a good point too. Like if everyone stops watching at 2 minutes in, it's a pretty good indicator that like your video sucks like at that point. And so to edit it, take that part out, or adjust the story arc so you're building more suspense so someone's gonna get over that hump and continue watching that video in the end. The device, obviously, the same thing with channel, but like how are they watching it? Is it on mobile? Is it on desktop? Are they using like a HD smart monitor that's in 1080p or higher? Are they watching in their mobile? And then what are the expectations too, right? If you're watching something at home, you're gonna expect that it's gonna be high res, it's gonna be really beautiful. If you're watching Snapchat, like it just has to be funny within like the allotted 10 seconds or whatever. And so just to be mindful of that. And then view initiation. So how people like start the video. So if someone has to actually click to play it, a lot of times it makes sense to use imagery that's really enticing. Those like really shady news ads that come up a lot in the internet that are like 10 weight loss tips you would never believe, and that like show someone with like sunken in face, like that's all like clickbaity style, right? But they know that for someone to even watch that little like video advertisement, like they have to do something pretty remarkable to have people click through it. So to be thinking about that as well, right? If it's just like a cut scene that's like slightly blurry and like one eye's looking there and one eye's looking there, someone's probably not going to click to that, right? And so to kind of start with like, what's the meat? What's the really engaging thing? just to give an example, using that, those Ryan's toy videos are really good examples, right? Because someone's got to click into all of these different videos. So in Photoshop, and this is where like the design integration kind of works, right? Is like in Photoshop, they're building all these thumbnails manually, and then you can set the thumbnail. And so that way, like, it's more engaging to watch a kid with like this cool background, you know, that says Thomas and Friends. That's going to be more engaging than like the actual video, which is just a kid riding, you know, a train on this carpet. It's not that cool. It looks really, you know, engaging here. And again, knowing your audience might be a parent watching with their kid, right? In that context, it's like you want to have bright colors. You want to have like big imagery. You want to have things that attract, you know, younger kids. Like, Dad, I want to watch this video. Mom, I want to watch this video. And then you start getting 500 million hits on eggs. Have any of you guys ever used or ever seen a gift egg before? Because I've never actually seen it in real life. Okay, no one has either. That's cool. Now you guys are as out of touch as I feel. So, welcome. You know, autoplay, obviously, like, just get to the point as soon as possible. If you know that as someone's scrolling, maybe you have a second or less, you know, get to the point really, really quick with videos. You know, roll over that same idea. And one kind of last key takeaway is just to actively use these sites to understand the changes that are happening. So just as a user, it's always to be mindful, like, what's the path I'm using? Like, what do I think is like good content? What is a bad video to me? What's this new feature that I'm seeing, or this new platform that I'm hearing people talk about? Like, always just be adopting those things. You know, I keep on referencing Snapchat, but like within my age cohort, there's probably 20 people that I'm friends with, you know, that use it. They tend to be like younger, but I'm still on the platform just to kind of understand what it is, how it works, who the players are, and so you can be cognizant and optimize for it. And so in the future, there's going to be more and more channels, platforms, etc., that are all opening up. So just to continue building out your skill set, you know, playing with these things and just being interested in the evolution, and that way you can continue to stay relevant as all these things, you know, change really dramatically and really, really quickly as well. So that's it. I did it way under an hour. Very pleased with myself. I think the last two I did were like an hour and a half. So I tried to cut it down this time. I wanted to see if you guys had any questions or anything.
Yes, I have a question.
Yeah.
So mine is the student government. And so right now with like the current political climate, like a lot of people are like, oh, politics, get away.
Yeah.
And so like we try to strike a balance between like glamorizing it and making it more engaging and more fun to participate in, but also like we are under like high scrutiny for like you can't be super frivolous, you can't be super like screwing around, or people think that you're like not focused on the issues.
Yeah.
And so like how do you suggest finding a balance between that?
Yeah. Distractions in PR videos. That probably goes more into like political science stuff, but yeah, people don't like, okay, if people are really concerned about like spending money, then you could make videos showing what you're doing against that. Like, what are you guys doing to save money? You know, maybe feature like a budget person kind of talking through what they look at.
Because most of the videos we have right now are like how-tos, like how to fill out your annual budget, like how to like write a motion, like things like that. But they're not very fun or engaging.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's good to make how-to videos. I think it's tougher with the student government because if you're not in government, there's probably only so many things that people, you know, want to do in their free time. I think PR videos help. But also you can't use video to like cover something up completely. Like if there really is waste, like video isn't going to prevent people from knowing. So I think it starts with, in the real world, doing what the constituents are asking for, but making sure that if you are doing it, capture it appropriately. I like watching Donald Trump because I think that he's really great politics aside, I think just strategy-wise, really good at highlighting positive things that are happening, whether or not they're based on even like fact or reality, whatever. They're still positioned in a certain way that gets people really excited, right?
Okay.
It's like, you know, for the last 100 of years, we've had corporations come to America and say, hey, we're going to fill X amount of thousands of jobs, right? But you didn't know. You never got a press release about it. You know, there wasn't a video kind of where the president's shaking hands with like Samsung. We never saw that stuff before, right? And so even though this is something that's happened literally since the beginning of the country, you know, that we have foreign investments here bringing jobs here, by making sure that you're capturing it on video and disseminating it to an audience, it's going to have a different effect versus if you just don't talk about it and just assume that people are going to know, you know, about that positive thing that you're doing. And so I think video is a really great, effective way to highlight things. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks. Come on, guys, I got the ball rolling.
How many of you guys as partners are using video in some way? What are they doing?
Facebook video and YouTube, and they have their YouTube videos on their website.
What are the videos about?
They have one that's like on their website that's like about us, and then on their Facebook, they have like sometimes they interview different workers. Be like, oh, spotlight employee, and I can actually check really quick.
What is the company?
It's called Blue Door Consulting, so they're actually an SEO company.
Oh, cool.
So I think that's why they kind of use video more. But they also do like local events, so like they're a sponsor of the Polar Plunge, so they'll have videos of that happening. So.
Yeah, those are like the event-based videos,
Yeah.
Which are always helpful to use.
But so I guess most of it's educational, but then they also have like community-based education because they, one example, it's a female-owned company and they brought in, I don't remember her name, but some woman that was on Shark Tank, so they had videos sponsoring that.
Nice. Yeah, I think there's lots of opportunity. You said that they're doing education videos, especially really targeted, like how to do SEO for, you know, X profession, you know, whatever it is there's really a gold mine there, just around SEO instruction for small businesses. And so a lot of the times larger players will use video just a way to initially get the hooks in, and then, you know, obviously to get a more compensated relationship down the line. That's really cool.
You said yours is photography, right? Yeah. My aunt is a newborn photographer in Boston, so there's like a lot of competition. And one of the most successful strategies she's ever implemented has been like doing instructional videos on how to like edit her photos or how to stage them. And like that's where like she's gotten such a big and like brand recognition that her business has taken off so much. So like those are really good ideas for videos to do.
They don't have any really video at all. There's, I think, an Instagram story today. It was like the first one I've ever seen.
Oh, really?
So,
Do they specialize in a certain type of photography?
I mean, obviously a lot of like senior pictures and stuff, but she does
Okay.
like corporate headshots and all the billboards and all that kind of stuff too. So.
Yeah, so you could even do a video like how to do a headshot, how to do a corporate headshot makeup, headshot lighting, you know, what to wear for a headshot, different professional headshots. One good tool even to look at potentials is Google Keyword Planner. You can put in like a search query, and then it'll give you a list of related search queries that people search for. And so you can mine that as well to get a better understanding of like what things people might be interested in. Same thing in the auto-populate field in Google and the auto-populate field in YouTube as well to kind of see what types of videos resonate. But yeah, there's a gold mine, right? Again, of people looking for content so that they can help, you know, make money or start their own business, right? How to start your own photo business, you know, for beginners. I think that there's a lot of different ways that you could go, you know, with video and photo. And she probably has all the stuff, you know, to make like really good videos already. Because a lot of them are just using like Canon 5Ds, which is just a typical, you know, camera. And so for her, it'd be a pretty small chunk, you know, to do that video. That's cool.
Yes, this isn't really specific to this class. I just want your opinion on the relationship between like influencers and video. Because I watch like a ton of YouTubers who like halfway through their video be like, oh, so this is sponsored by X company, and I'm always like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I think that depends on the audience. I think that most younger audience is just gonna be like what you just said, right? Is you just kind of roll your eyes at the end of it. I'm actually really surprised at the amount of free stuff given to like influencers.
Yeah.
For things. It's pretty, like my wife just got about $1,000 worth of ski clothes, and she has like 1,000 Instagram followers. Like it's not that deep, you know. I doubt they sold any jackets from giving her a jacket, you know. But it's like whatever, we'll take it. I think in the same way, sometimes it can be useful, but you have to go super, super broad, and probably have a cheaper product with really, really high margin to have it make sense. So that's why like a lot of really good looking people on Instagram, it's like they use the same, I forget what the company is.
Is it Fit Tea?
It's like the same, yeah, it's like all those supplements, right? Because it's like, you know, the tea probably costs like 3 cents of tea, you know, and then they're going to sell it for $10, and so they have that huge margin, and so they can lose a bunch of their money, like just for marketing, and so just give it to everyone, you know, for free. But if you like cars, it's probably going to be a little bit tougher if you've ever won a car.
I think the most popular Instagram post was a Coca-Cola ad for Selena Gomez, so it's definitely changing a bit.
Yeah, but it's a probably a sponsored post, probably a sponsored boosted post, right?
I don't know.
Because I think they can pay to have more people, more impressions, you know, with the brand. But I do agree with you, for super mega people, for sure, it still works, right? People are still gonna do Kardashians, duh. It's like, if you have the money to pay them to feature your product, you're probably gonna sell out of that product. So I definitely think that there's like a small cohort of real influencers, but those people are like bigger than the internet, you know, like Selena Gomez, you know, it's like Britney Spears. It doesn't matter if she's on the net or not, like people are probably gonna buy, you know, the thing that she has. So yeah, I think like true real influencers, but I feel like the term influencer now is so broad that it could be anyone with like, you know, 1,000 Facebook followers or more, and that's not, to me, that's like kind of wasted money. But yeah, I mean, if you got Bieber money, do it.
As a consumer, I've got really frustrated with like influencer videos and stuff like that, because like when they started, like the goal was to like go straight to the consumer and like be able to trust that they weren't influenced by brands, and that they could just tell you like their honest truth about what they think of these products, and like that was the whole draw of moving away from like trusting big businesses, and that's what started blogs and like all of that stuff. But like every single post, like if you want to find out, hey, is this lipstick good? How long does it actually last? Like you can't find a post that isn't sponsored anymore.
Yeah, it's really tough, and that's where authenticity becomes more and more important. And I think we'll see that become increasingly important in the future, is because if you know everyone can be bought and like pretty cheaply as well, then you can't really trust anyone. And so I'm sure that it'll start a new niche where people get money through different ways other than, you know, featuring products.
Video is a really interesting beast because it's really easy to get into video and make videos that people will watch. But it's really hard to sort of become that top. It's like, okay, I've got this message that I want to put out. I've got to produce the same video in 8 different ways, depending upon what my target channel is, to optimize it. I guess that's the word. It's really hard to optimize video until you get really big, just because there's so many variables to it.
Yeah.
And, that's one of the things that I'm looking at right now too, because I've got my little side channel. It's like, okay, I'm not even gonna try. I'm just gonna start by building my base content, and then later I'll start branching out, so I've got that core, this is what I'm gonna do. And it's like, I know, it's like I could take my 5-minute videos, break them up into what's a total of 10 seconds and give that highlight to put on Instagram or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I could do that if my goal right now was bringing Instagram viewers. But it's like, you still have to have that content first. So it's like, you can't go from zero to hero. You really have to ratchet up your game and go there. But you can go from zero to, hey, I'm making a difference for my partner organization. Like we had an organization last semester that was a landscaping company. Well, they could go out with a cell phone and record some of the bits and pieces of the projects that they're doing just with their cell phone and make something that's compelling video on their site, because it's like, here's this block wall that we did. Look at how hard it is to actually make that wall. You probably want to hire us. Here's how you do it, but it's really hard to do, that kind of thing. So video, you can go a long way with low quality video, but you hit a wall, where it's like, okay, are we really going to invest into video now, or is this okay? And it's okay to just be okay.
Mm-hmm.
But
and often it's like you just want to have something. I think that's really helpful, especially for like small localized businesses. There's just a few videos just to understand, like, what do they do? What's the interior look like? Is the restaurant typically buzzy, or is it low key? What's the lighting like? Video is just a really quick way to just translate what would, otherwise be pages and pages and pages of text, just to get to the point really quickly.
all right, you guys have any questions? Can anybody tell me what your final project's due?
2 weeks.
A week from Friday. A week from Friday, 10 days. You guys need to turn them in, because we need to get that to the Thomson Reuters people. So the 14th is the day. Whatever that Friday is, it needs to be to me by 5 o'clock that Friday. So you basically got a week to do this. So if you've been procrastinating, those days are over. I put up a new announcement today. I put up the rest of the schedule. I put up the week 11 or 12 stuff, which is looking at trends in SEO. So there's some really cool articles there. Naturally, I pulled down Search Engine Journal, Moz, and Search Engine Land as the places to look to articles to see where it's going. You don't have to do a hard read of those articles. Just a reasonable scan of depth is going to show you there's about 5 areas where everybody is saying this is where it's going for search. And all the people who are leading it, one of them pulled 44 professionals, and it really boils down to about 5 things that are consistent across them. And a lot of it is mobile, a lot of it is video. So it's like those are sort of, that's where it's at. Then you can get into more technical of how you go video when there's, go mobile. So you guys can read the articles, but I guess the key thing to take away is one of the most important things you need to walk out of this class with is knowing where to look to stay current, because whatever we teach you in this class, about 40% of it is going to be the same in 5 years, but there's going to be 60% of it that anything that's tactics based is going to have changed. Things are just changing that quickly. And make sure there's an article on, what's it called when Google doesn't show the keywords?
Not provided.
Yeah, not provided. If you turn in your final paper and you don't understand what not provided does, there's an automatic drop of a grade right there. So read the article and understand that, because you really don't come into that and say, well, Google just says they're not provided, but we don't know what that means. You need to know what that means, because keywords and how you get to those keywords is an important aspect of this. So that's the main thing is your project, it's go time. I'll be posting the schedule for what, actually may have already posted the schedule for what time you guys are doing that day. Those of you who are on campus but aren't always in here, try and see if you can arrange with your instructors to be in here. If not, you need to talk to me. So that's all I got. I'm going to stop the recording.